Okay. Good evening and welcome to the November 8th Ferguson City Council meeting. The opening ceremony meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for a silent prayer. The pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah.
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
Councilwoman Burrow. Councilwoman Robinette.
Here.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Here.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here. A quorum is present and our goal is to work to be out by 8:00 p.m. At this time, we'll have our public comments. Clerk Pittman.
First, I have William Humphrey.
Each person will receive 3 minutes to speak with a 40-second warning. Sorry.
William Humphrey. I am a resident of Ferguson. I live on Royal Avenue. I came to the meeting today because I'm interested in the building that was formerly the Whistle Stop. I called, talked to someone about the building. They said that it may be for rent or for sale. I'm not sure which it is. I talked to Mayor Jones. I come and talk to the council and also talk to, I guess, the city planner. My wife and I saw the inside, the outside of the building, but we didn't never get a chance to see the inside of the building. And the number that I was given, I emailed him a few times. I forgot what his name was. Elliot, maybe. And he hasn't returned my emails. So I think I may have emailed him 2 to 3 times. I'm interested in putting like a small restaurant there. So I'm just trying to get some information or trying to reach out and see what the logistic is of it, because I don't know if it's available. I don't know if it's zoned for a restaurant, liquor, different things like that. So this is the reason I'm here, and if I can get some information, that'll be helpful.
Mr. Humphrey.
Assoff.
Mr. Humphrey, could you give your, go ahead.
Good evening, Nick Kassoff, 125 Royal. On this evening's council agenda, there is a resolution to set an election for February, and I just have a brief comment about that. Several meetings ago, there was a resolution setting an election for mayor in April. That was not a discretionary resolution. Council had to pass it because the charter requires it. And I believe that everybody on council voted for that resolution. That doesn't mean you support anybody in particular running for mayor, but it's simply a recognition that the charter requires the setting of certain elections at certain times. This evening, you have a resolution to set an election in February, and just as it is a requirement of the charter to set the mayoral election in April, it is similarly a requirement of the charter to set an election within a certain number of days after a recall petition has been validated and presented to council. Those requirements have been met, and I trust that council will do their statutory duty this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cassoff.
Holtrop,
I'm Jill Holtrop. I live at 100 South Clay. And I just wanted to put forth the notion, I think you'll be going into budgetary discussions. I don't know if it's in the next month or if it begins the next year. But I would like council to consider putting money into the budget for a specialist for public relations for Ferguson. We have so many wonderful events that take place, whether it's through organized different organizations or through events, whether it's the fire department or the police department or parks or recreation. But I feel that they could be much better attended if we had someone who could be dedicated to public relations, which is completely different, or marketing really, which is much different than branding. Many times people confuse branding with marketing. They're two entirely different animals. And so I'm hoping that you could consider bringing someone on in that capacity, because not only would it benefit the citizens of Ferguson within our community, but to help people outside of community Ferguson know what a terrific place this is to come and frequent, whether it is restaurants or parks or investing in real estate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Erica Brooks,
Good evening. I started off last time when I was here talking about the Willie Lynch letter. I had a little bit left that I didn't read. And so I wanted to finish with that end part about the purpose of the Willie Lynch letter. I'm reading this because right now the status of our United States of America is in this zone of these principles that are going on in this letter. People can have a denial or colorblind situation, but the reality is the Republican Party, along with everybody else that's in that zone of taking us back to slavery, is live and well. And so the last part that I ended up with was the person, Willie Lynch, telling them how to categorize slaves. What's the important methods of making sure that you make the difference between a slave. And so it says you must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave, and a light-skinned slave versus the dark-skinned slave. You must use female versus male and male versus female. You must also have a white servant and an overseer. Distrust all Blacks. It is necessary for our slaves to trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your key to control. Use them. You have your wives and your children, use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for a year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful of each other. And it says, thank you, gentlemen. Now, there are different subtopics of this Willie Lynch letter, which the first part talks about how to make a slave. The next part is cardinal principles of making a Negro. The next part of it is the breaking process of an African-American woman. Now, when I got to that part, I didn't read the first part where they said that the African-American woman is of good economics. And if you read this book, you can very much understand that we have a lot of African-American women in high-powered positions today. And so when it comes to us, you have to realize one thing, there's no difference between any woman that's sitting up there. The only difference is the hand that's rocking the cradle and the society that's uplifting that person, that female that's in control. And so when
40 seconds, Ms. Brooks.
So when it comes to the other categories, you have the nigger marriage, you have warning possible interlude negativity, you have controlled the language, which causes confusion amongst the communities. So I'm saying this because, like I say, right now, as you can see across America, there's a lot of confusion that's been put forth within the legislation to take our rights away as women, as African-American people. And today we had a clear example of a lot of laws that have been put in place in order to revoke our rights to be able to vote. So please stay woke and understand that this Willie letter and the principles are alive and well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adrian Shropshire.
Good evening, council. Good evening, mayor and citizens. Just a few lightweight topics I'd like to bring to our attention. Big stops. The law enforcement is doing their job. I can see traffic slowing down on Chambers. I see now that it's not as thick and heavy because they know, okay, they're giving tickets. I'm out, I live right there by that area, and there are still some speeders, but it's not consistently like it used to be because they're writing tickets and they're taking temp tags off. I saw an officer take a temp tag. I don't know what the date it was expired, but it had to be a long time. And he had the guy taking it off his car. So let's give the safety a little extra recommendations on what they're doing to try to slow the traffic down. It's about the roundabout. The roundabout that's going to be up on Elizabeth, maybe. I think the way the lights are timed now, I think we might have had 2 accidents maybe from the time they timed the lights and cut through traffic on turn lane. So I would like to reconsider to put it on hold to see how it goes, give it a 6-month working period or a year to see if the accidents pick up or if they fall completely off due to the timing of the lights. That's a big factor because we were turning and cars were going through and you really can't see when they're coming up over the hill right there, what's speeding. So just something to think about. 1.5, you know, there's other things, and I've heard other citizens talk about, well, we might be able to use it someplace else. I was taken back when I saw our city manager at the down at county with a litter of pups. I'm a dog owner. I'm a pet owner. And I tell you, I spend money on my dog to make things right with her. And I think it was maybe, to me, that was abuse to use those pets for somebody's extra or somebody's gain. I'm not for that. I think it shouldn't have happened because we do have shelters that we work with that this could have been handled in a better way and not make people look like they're being used for certain things and different things like that. I just think that our city manager put himself and the city in a situation that gives us a, well, why is he there? And that's my question. And just to let you know, one time I think I said 50% United States dogs are abandoned and 51% are turned over to the Humane Society across the United States. So this is a big issue, just not here in Ferguson. And sometimes somebody dropped those pups off. We don't know, we're speculating. We're listening to what something comes from someplace else. Speculation makes you look sort of, well, let's get some, investigate first before you do things like that. Investigate if we do have puppy mills. People drop dogs off all over the area.
Mr. Shropshire,
Okay.
your time is up.
Streetlights. Thank you, Mr. Palmer, Councilman Palmer, for bringing it up to Eric. Hey, we got to do something about our streetlights. We have 7 streetlights out, but they're putting Christmas decorations up. To me, that's asinine. We're gonna put decorations up, but we got lights all up and down our street and it looks tacky. This is the second time that I brought that up to the council, please.
Mr. Shropshire.
Okay, and I have one more thing. Miss Frouche. She's looking for a position. She said she's talked to Linda, to Heather, and to Eric, and nobody has called her back. And she feels that she doesn't fit into whatever we're doing. She said nobody wants her. And I can't think of her first name, but I talked to her today and she said she's willing to do anything on the boards and commissions. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ned Jenkins.
I just want you all to explain something to me that was just brought up by Mr. Chapshaw. Our city manager, I have it on my thing, being down in Sam Page's office along with Nicholas Cat, whatever his name is. And we have homeless here out in Ferguson. So explain to me why he's down there taking the city funds from the taxpayers to do dog work. Don't get me wrong, I love dogs, but human beings are more important to me than dogs. Now, you can take he's not here. I don't like to speak about nobody behind their back because I'm a front person. And I'll say this again next month. What he did was, to me, on the taxpayers dying. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I love dogs. But tell me why we are using government city funds for dogs. Is this what the taxpayer is paying for? What is the duties of the city manager? That's what I want to know tonight. Because when you put dogs above people, we got people sleeping on the bus stop. But you're gonna go down to Sam's Page office with some puppies. And then after you do that, you couldn't get what you wanted because he wasn't there. They take him to the police department. So that's neglect. And I'm very upset about that. I'm gonna sit down because, like I said, I want to know where our taxpayers' dollars is going. Like Elliot Davis said, we paid for it.
Thank you, Ms. Annette.
Mayor, I don't have anyone else signed up on the list, but we did receive one email in advance from Mr. Jimmy Knowles, but he's not here. So I can read his really quickly. Mayor Jones and City Council, good evening. This is just a friendly reminder from the Ferguson Civilian Review Board that we currently have 7 members and are in need of 2 more. We appreciate the council for appointing 2 new members in August, but we still struggle with getting a quorum. Since the end of June, we've had 3 different meetings canceled due to a lack of quorum, most recently here at the end of September. Any help would be appreciated.
Thank you. That's it.
That's all I have.
Public comments are now closed. The city manager's report, the city manager is ill tonight. So therefore, we will not have the police department update, the fire department update. They will update us in the December meeting. Thank you. The next item is special presentation. We don't have any. Public hearings, we don't have any. We move to our consent agenda. City council meeting minutes. The regular meeting, 10/11/22, 10/25/22. The special meeting, 8/21/22, 10/11/22, 10/25/22, and 11/3/22. Are there any questions or corrections to the minutes? Hear none. I request a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second, Heather Robinette.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. We move to the board and commission meeting minutes. We have traffic commission minutes for 9/21/22. Requesting a motion and a second to receive and file the minutes from the traffic meeting.
So moved, Linda Lipko, Ward 1.
Is there a second?
Second, Heather Robinette, Ward 2.
It has been properly moved in second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meetings are filed. We move to appointments. I don't have any for tonight. We move to request liquor license approval for the new Elicious Breakfast and Brunch at 500 South Florissant Road, and it's beautiful.
Yes,
City Clerk.
yes, ma'am. Johnny Little, he is not in the meeting. I'm not sure if he's online. He was gonna try to attend. But he did come to a previous meeting and explain to you guys how the Elicious Breakfast and Brunch was going to operate. But now what they're doing is applying for the actual liquor license because they want to have a full bar, but they're gonna also do mimosas and so forth to go with your brunch. But I'm not showing that he's here to answer any questions that you guys may have, but I don't know if you have any.
Okay.
I can try to answer them for you.
Any questions? Hear none. Requested a motion and a second to approve the liquor license for Elicious.
So moved, Tony Burrow.
Second, Laquita Noah.
I heard Burrow and Lipka.
22 moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We have liquor license approved for Elicious. At this time, City Clerk, could you give us a list of the license that were extended for 90 days? And so we could discuss it, please.
Sorry. One second. Okay, yes, those that are still outstanding are going to be Savoy on South Florissant Road, Philip 66 on New House Ferry, Morello Convenience on Old House Ferry, Blessed Teresa on Elizabeth, Ophir Palace on South Harvey, King of Soul on South Florissant, and R&R on Airport Road.
Okay. Has code been to these various places and done an inspection? And have they complied with the results from the inspection?
So I did not mention Just Chicken because they were also on the list. However, they have completed everything that was required of them. The others code is working with them. They have gone out. They went out again in last week of October, first week of November, to check on the progress. But the individuals that I just listed still have issues that are outstanding. So a couple of months ago, you guys extended their license to November 23rd. So I just wanted to I sent you guys the message just to kind of notify you that they are still outstanding. If we didn't take any action today and they were not completed with everything, their license would expire November 23rd. And so on November 24th, code would go out and let them know that they did not have their license. But they have communicated that to them. You know, some of them have worked down some of the lists. Others, you know, may not have had as much progress. These are the ones that are still outstanding today.
How long have they been outstanding now? I mean, when was their original date?
You all set the date back in August for 90 days.
Okay.
And on November the 23rd,
Mhm.
those licenses will expire.
Yes, if
And
they
code
have
was in
not
our-
completed everything that needs to be completed, their license will expire November 23rd. And as I said, our code compliance officers have gone out and they've explained that to them. They are working through the list on some of them. Some of them had some other explanations. But that's kind of where we stand today. They do still have, what, 2 more weeks?
Yeah, 2 more weeks and a couple of days.
Yeah, but I wanted to notify you guys now because we did not have another council meeting between now and then.
So the question I have too is there any part of the reasoning that they are not done yet based on anything code has to do with it? For instance, what I'm trying to say is code backed up? Is code having issues? Are they having problems getting out to these businesses? Or is it just a matter of the businesses haven't met all the requirements and code is completely out of the picture in that regard?
Yeah, I think at this point it's really cold. The only one that I would exempt from that would be Savoy. And that's because Savoy was overlooked in the process. They have, however, had their inspection done. They had another inspection done on, I'm not sure if that was their first or second inspection they had completed on Friday. And I do not have those. I don't have those results. But they are the only ones that have not had as much communication as everyone else.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Well, Mayor, the question I have for us or you as as the mayor, do we need to have a discussion for any additional extensions or is that something? I have mixed feelings about that, but that's my question. Is there room for discussion on this at this point?
Well, the conditional license that they have now expires November the 23rd.
Mhm.
So they give them additional 2 weeks.
Right.
So I say let them go into November the 23rd and we see where they are on the 24th.
Do we consider what Octavia, our city clerk, just said about the Savoy and possibly give them till the next council meeting?
Yes, because they were overlooked.
Okay, so I would like, you tell me when, but I would like to put a motion on the floor that we extend Savoy to the December council meeting.
Is there a second?
So moved, Heather Robinette.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Savoy will be extended to the meeting in December 2022. Okay,
If I could just clarify, hold on, let me pull the data up real quick. And following your previous action, so if this is okay, their license is going to go to December the 14th, which is the day after the council meeting.
okay.
That would be the clarification of my motion, yes.
Okay. Since they have 2 weeks till November the 23rd, I don't think any action should be taken because they still have 2 weeks to work.
Are you talking about the other ones?
Yeah, the other businesses.
Do we send out a 2-week notice?
So like I said, what they've been doing is actually going out to them. So we've already sent them reminders, and information that, their license even says that it expires November 23rd. So they've already received multiple notifications. And I can speak with code again, just to kind of follow up, again this week to kind of see where they are and just reiterate that they risk losing their license, as of November 24th.
Yeah, because they've got a holiday weekend coming up right after that.
Yeah. City clerk, when you speak to code, can you send the council an update?
Sure.
Okay, that'll work. Everyone in agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just in this section on any more liquor license?
Oh, no,
Okay,
no.
we, no proclamations for tonight. We need to move to number 7 on resolutions. We have resolution number 2022-45. That's the Juneteenth. We asked for a postponement.
I would like to make a motion that we move that to our December meeting once we have our full staff here. Or Linda Lipka.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that resolution number 2022-45 be postponed to the December meeting. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We move to resolution number number 2022-46. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Attorney Ryan to read the resolution.
Execute an agreement for a grant and aid under St. Louis County's grant program for the city waste reduction effort.
Attorney Ryan, since the city manager is not here, would you like to expound?
Attorney Ryan, can you move your microphone in front of you? There, thank you.
Yes, this is just a resolution. There is a grant program in St. Louis County. I apologize, our city manager is feeling ill today, but it does seem that it was approved or recommended by city management.
Thank you. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So moved, Linda Lipka.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Borough,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Resolution number 2022-46 passes. Resolution number 2022-47. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the resolution?
A resolution to hold a special municipal election on February 7th, 2023 in Ward 2 of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, for the petition to recall Joanne T. Burrow, Councilor, Ward 2, City of Ferguson.
Attorney Ryan, would you please expound?
Yes, Mayor, there was a petition for recall filed. And this would be a resolution authorizing a special election for that recall election.
At this time, I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So moved, Linda Lipka, Ward 1.
Is there a second?
Second, Heather Robinette, Ward 2.
It has been properly moved in second. Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Councilwoman Borough,
No.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Resolution number 2022-47 passes. We don't have any bills requiring first reading, no bills requiring second reading. We move to item number 10, which is unfinished business. When we had the public hearing on this unfinished business, we had several council members who were absent at the time. In addition to that, we have had Forest Wood make a suggestion as to another course of action to bring Ward 3 into compliance. City Clerk, is all that information attached?
yes.
Okay, has everyone had an opportunity to read it and review it?
I have. If you need a roll call, yes, I have.
Okay, okay. It is my recommendation that we look at Forest Wood, the recommendation that was made from Donald Stevens, as to leave Nesbitt Newton where it is, Forest Northern Hills where it is, and take the backside of Ward 1 and Ward 3 and merge those two together, such as I think it was Edge Hill, Clarefield,
Fenwick.
Mondale, that area, to achieve the numbers that we need. Also, it was stressed by a resident where there was 40 voting members in Ward 1 to move them over to Ward 2 near the Jeske Park area.
So Mayor, may I make a suggestion or,
Yes.
the commission that put this together put a lot of hours into this and they worked very hard at it. And now we have people that are coming up with different solutions, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what I would suggest is that this is obviously a conversation that is still ongoing. So maybe if we were to postpone any motion or any movement on this tonight and have a work session on this next week, like you had discussed. But even at that work session, I would like to make sure it is coordinated with the members of the redistricting commission to be there so that we can, they're the experts. We made them the experts. We made them the ones that did the homework. They've done all the number crunching. So I would really like to hear their input about these suggestions. And, we took a lot of their personal time to do this and I don't want to throw it in the trash can. So I would say, let's have a work session. And I hate work sessions. I hate postponing decisions like this, but this one is imperative to future elections. So, and I really believe that Ward 1 is too big. And I think that it is obvious that the voting population needs to be more balanced in our 3 wards. So that being said, I would like to see us do a work session. I'd like to see the council members in attendance, and I'd like to have the commission, the redistricting commission in attendance so that we can work together on a solution.
Perfect. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Can the motion be restated?
Sure. Sorry, I was not really making a motion. I was just talking. So I will turn it into a motion. I make a motion that we have a work session, including council members, redistricting commission, to further discuss suggestions that have been brought forth.
Second, Heather Robinette, Ward 2.
It has been properly moved in second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
We have one opposed. The motion passes. At this time, we move to new business. Do we have any new business? Hear none. We move to miscellaneous. We'll start with Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. I just would like to remind you all that the Feed the Masses program, it's really loud.
I'm sorry.
We have had a public hearing and we have the citizen comment. So right now it is in the hands of the council.
So what that Ms. Brooks citizen comments was part of the packet. So it wasn't an opening for citizen comments. It was a listing of the items that were in the packet. So the past citizen comments were part of the redistricting packet. So it was just, that's a listing of everything that was in the packet. It's not an invitation. No, ma'am.
Hold up. That is not true. That is not true. We have had a public hearing and the citizens had an opportunity to stress how they feel. All of this information was sent over to the city clerk. We extended the time until late September, the 1st of October for citizens to come forth, give us their comments and give us an opportunity to look at it. So the citizens were welcome and they stated what they had to state. And so right now it lies in the hands of the council, and the motion on the floor from Councilwoman Lipka is that we include the commission in this workshop that we're going to have because they have done the work and they need to give us a better understanding and taking into account what the citizens have shared. Thank you. That's it. That's it. That's it. Point of order. Point of order. We move to our miscellaneous.
Ready? Okay.
Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm looking forward to working with the council on upcoming work sessions such as boards and commissions, streets, and any other matters requiring council attention. So looking forward to those workshops. Everyone, please don't forget about the Feed the Masses program operating from November 1 through November 30th. Please support our fabulous Ferguson Park and Recreation Department by dropping off canned goods and non-perishable goods at the Ferguson Community Center, the police station, the firehouse, and City Hall. And I would like to thank Ferguson Park and Rec Department for the spectacular event. It was spectacular. We had a good time. They do so much for our community. I just really appreciate our Park and Rec Department. There was a fire in Ward 3 over the weekend. Thankfully, everyone was safe, but I would like to encourage Ferguson renters to purchase rental insurance if you can. You know, you want to protect your valuables. We don't want anyone to have to endure a fire, but we want everyone to be safe and for their valuables to be protected. Lastly, happy Veterans Day, which is November the 11th. So thank a veteran for their service. And that's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Palmer.
I have nothing tonight.
Councilwoman Borough.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the opportunity yesterday evening of meeting Betty sort of face to face and up front, and it was a treat for, she had mentioned at the last council meeting that someone had spoken up about she's as good as she says she is, she'd work herself out of a job. So I let her know that was me. And she really gave a good example of what she thought her job would be like. She was not satisfied with the way she had been treated. She made that clear. I liked her candidness, her frankness, and most of all, I think she's prepared to do the job. I think she's going to work herself out of a job. That's how good she is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Borough. Councilwoman Robinette.
Yes, I'd just like to thank the fire department for having the free both shots in each arm on the 4th. My neighbor said it only takes 10 minutes. And then, yeah, and I was like, which arm's gonna hurt more? But I was grateful to have that done. So I appreciate that they put that out there. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Lipka.
So I just want to address some of the public comments tonight. Mr. Humphrey, super excited to hear that you've got some ideas and plans for that building because we are looking forward to seeing somebody make it thrive again. So I highly suggest ice cream again, but that's just my opinion. But I saw you talk to the city clerk, so our information is online, but if you need any assistance, I'd be happy to help you get some communication going. That being said, so that's all, but thank you so much. Also, one of the other thing, Ms. Holtrop, you brought up the need for a public relations specialist. That is something that we have talked about for a long time. So it is very, very apparent to all of us that that's very true. And one of the hopes is that when we get the community development director in place, that's going to start to move forward and that person will also have some opportunities to start creating that public relations momentum. So wanted to let you know you are right on track. Ms. Brooks, after the meeting, I'd like to get the author of that poem that you were talking about because I would really like to read it. Mr. Shropshire, traffic stops, great. And I'm thrilled to death that you saw temp tags being taken. The thing about the roundabout, I hear you. What I do want to remind you is that there is a time frame that's involved with the roundabout because there's grant money involved. So a decision has to be made within a certain amount of time so that grant will cover part of that cost. So I don't know, and I would have to go back and look at my notes. I don't know if there is an opportunity to put it on hold, but it is something to consider. As far as the Christmas lights and the street lights, that's trying to compare apples to oranges. Because the cost of streetlights is a lot. Do they need to be replaced? Yeah. But the fact that they haven't been replaced has nothing to do with Christmas decorations. Because the Christmas decorations have been purchased years ago. They're reused every year. They're put up by our city staff. It brings community happiness. It brings a sense of holiday to everyone who drives through the community. Unfortunately, the garland will go a little longer because there's 7 lights. They can't wrap it around, but eventually, you know, the intention with the ARPA funds and some of the things that were discussed is to have more streetlights, and that is something that even Mr. Palmer has been very involved in and worked on. So I hear your point, but I want you to understand you're comparing apples to oranges. So I want to make that clear. As far as Ms. Fouché, when I talked to her, she wanted to be on the traffic council, and I think we already had enough. But Ms. Fouché is an awesome human being. I've never told her no. And if she wants to be on something, I didn't realize that was the case. I will be more than happy to find her a home. And then as far, you know, I'm not going to get into it in terms of people's opinions or this and that. What I will tell you, my understanding of our city manager going down to Sam Page's office was the fact that the mother and the puppies were an example of the extreme neglect of stray animals in the community. We've got dogs who are giving birth. There's no one to take care of them. And that becomes a situation of shelters in the Humane Society. But the Humane Society in St. Louis County refuses to answer the phone calls of Ferguson citizens. They refuse to come to our community and do their job. And they have point blank told us, yeah, no, we're not going to Ferguson. They are full. I understand that they have issues in other communities, but they just blatantly do not come to Ferguson. And the problem is when that happens, we don't have a shelter here. Now we have contacted other shelters, they're full and so forth. The process of trying to place animals who need placement is always done, and it's done in a proper order. And then when that proper order is stopped and stagnated because the proper division of our county government won't do their job, that's when the city manager was like, enough is enough. I'm taking these dogs down there as an example of what we're dealing with. And that's what he was trying to do. Now, I'm not here to say yay or nay on that, but what I will say is we have, you know, Ms. Jenkins, you made the comment that you care more about people. Trying to deal with the animal problem is caring about the people, because we've had multiple situations. We actually had a situation, I want to say a couple of weeks ago, maybe to the extent of 3 weeks ago, where kids were chased by roaming pit bulls while they went to the school bus. When they were standing at a bus stop, they had to get outside neighbors, had to come out and help these kids get safe. We've had senior citizens who are walking their own dogs get chased by stray pit bulls, and not just pit bulls, stray dogs in general. So when our city manager has said, look, it's not a matter of will somebody get mauled, it's a matter of when they will get mauled. So that does become a human issue. Dealing with the dogs and spending city dollars to deal with the dogs, which the extent of the city dollars was no more than any other situation where our staff goes anywhere to do their job. But that is a situation where the end result is to protect the citizens and the animals. But you can't separate the two, because right now the situation is such that we have quite a few stray animals and they create a potential danger for the citizens in this community. So that's my input for you there. So it's not to say right or wrong to either one of you, but just to kind of give you some background. So, well, that's your totally your call, ma'am.
Kind of wrap it up.
Okay. That is all I had. So thank you very much for my time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilwoman Nelson, I know your name.
Thank you, ma'am. Not a whole lot tonight. Just wanted to continue to encourage residents to please think about being a part of any of the boards and commissions for the city. Like I continue to say, your voices should be heard. Instead of complaining about it, be about it. So be a part of the boards and commissions so you can have a say. And also I want to thank Dave and his team for the Parks and Recs. The Spooktacular was a phenomenal event as always. And so it's always a great event and well attended as it always is. So I want to thank them for that as well.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nelson. Clerk Pittman?
Yes, just a reminder that nominating petitions for the position of mayor are available in the city clerk's office. The first day of filing for that particular position is going to be December the 6th at 8 a.m. here in the city council chambers. The last day of filing is going to be December 27th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Attorney Ryan? Okay, I would just like to say, the Spooktacular was outstanding. Kids were coming out crying, and that's why I went in the day before when it was all lit up, so I wouldn't come out crying. So it was really good. The Parks Department did a phenomenal job. We also entertained a delegation from Brazil, and they had an opportunity to visit Ferguson, look at our century homes and the various parks and our recreation center. And they had a real newfound respect for Ferguson because it's not what was depicted on the television. So they were here for about an hour and a half. They talked to the police department, and they were really satisfied. And I was glad that we took the opportunity from the State Department to entertain the delegation from Brazil. Okay, at this time, I'm requesting a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved, Heather Robinette.
It's okay, it's been properly moved in second. I'm ready for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.
7:55.